Lindsey, it's so great to have you on.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
You're doing amazing things here in Portland. I think it's really incredible that you are bringing science to not only the kids, but I've learned a lot from your videos, whether it's creating electricity from lemons, whether it's how the sun, how the solar eclipse happens. Like, you have all these science-based videos, and you have a amazing audience already. Tell me about how this all got started.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for like 7 years. I don't know which camera. Oh, that one? The light? Oh, okay, it'll be fine. Yeah, I started 7 years ago when I was a babysitter. It's very fun. So I have a very like ridiculous back history life. So I was an overachieving high school student, and by overachieving I mean I had a D+ grade point average, but that was mainly because I had no interest in high school. I just was like, this is pointless, this doesn't mean anything. Yeah. But I ended up going to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York when I was 15, and interning in a fashion showroom when I was 16. And so I didn't realize that it was unusual for a 16-year-old to be interning in the real world. That's something that starts in college. Yeah. And so when I graduated high school, by the grace of God, I think they were just sick of me. I went to community college, and the whole time I was there, I interned at production studios and this whole thing. And so by the time I was 19 and graduating from community college, I got offered a job at MTV Networks. So I went to work at MTV really early. And so from 19 to 25, I was just living the life of a postgraduate, and ended up director of business development at an ad agency in New Jersey. And one day was oh my God, I hate my life. I don't even want to get out of bed. I have all of the markers of what I perceived success to be. I was making a lot of money. I lived in this amazing apartment, had all this stuff. Working for this ad agency, had this amazing title, but I just didn't like my life. So I quit.
Crazy.
I just totally crazy. So I totally quit. Yeah. Moved out of my apartment and legitimately lived in a friend's pool house and babysat her kids. Okay. And it was in this time when I was maybe 25, 26, that I discovered I was really great with kids. And so I spent about 18 months just kind of finding myself while also babysitting. Yeah. And this is in 2000, maybe 2008, 2009. YouTube was brand new. And I was moving back into New York to work on a project, and one of the parents, they had thrown this little neighborhood party for me because I was leaving. I had maybe 12 kids that I babysat in this neighborhood. And so the neighborhood kind of threw me a little party. And one of the dads was like, hey, have you ever heard of YouTube? And I mean, in 2009, that's a totally, 2008, that's a reasonable question. Yeah. And he was like, the kids are going to really miss you. You should make videos so the kids can see you. Wow. You should make videos of the little experiences and the projects that you've created for our kids in this neighborhood so that they can see you. And a year later in 2010, I called my friend Chirian, who I knew from MTV Networks. He was at Nickelodeon at the time. He was an editor. I was like, hey, will you come shoot a home video of me making Play-Doh with my goddaughter? He was like, sure. And in my mind, genuinely, it was going to be just this rickety home video. Yeah. I was expecting it to be totally ridiculous. Yeah. And a week after he came out to New Jersey and shot me making Play-Doh with my goddaughter Paige. Yeah. He sent me this file, and it had music, and it was edited, all of this magical stuff, and I was like, what? So yeah, that's how it started 7 years ago.
And I love it. Crazy Aunt Lindsey. Yep. If you guys are on YouTube, look up Crazy Aunt Lindsey. One of your most recent episodes is about making ice cream, and you talk about not only the molecular structures of making ice cream, but you talk about the history of ice cream, and also introducing something that I love is the African American history. Oh yeah. Of the inventor of the ice cream scoop.
Yes, not Louis Latimer. That's this week. Alfred Crowley.
Alfred Crowley. Yeah. Yeah, and he's the first African American in America who had a patent.
So he's the first in Pittsburgh, but he's one of the first in the country to hold a patent. And it's so funny because back then, I think the first patent was awarded in like late 1700s, early 1800s.
Yeah.
And like it was really interesting because to file a patent, you didn't necessarily need to know how to read, but you needed to know how to draw.
Yeah.
But back then, like, people were owned by people. So if you were to submit a patent for something that you invented, you, like as an African American, as a black person, you probably weren't going to submit it yourself.
Yeah.
But the person who owned you is the person who had the rights to that.
Interesting.
So a lot, we don't actually know what African American is the first person to own a patent because there was really no way to know who invented what. But
that's deep. That's a little bit too deep for this live show.
A little too deep.
Lindsey Murphy, you are now running Murph Media.
Yep.
Tell us a bit about that and about some of the ambitions you want to find with Murph Media.
So my goal is to do for Portland what Oprah did for Chicago.
Dope.
I wish you could see this amazing group of people. Yeah, and I realize that's like an incredibly ambitious statement, but I just really feel like Portland is ready for that. Portland has room for that. I don't know, like there's a lot of stuff happening in LA, there's a lot of stuff happening in New York where you know, I am from the East Coast, I'm a Jersey girl. But there's just something happening in the ether right now that I feel like Portland is in the middle of, and I grew up in fashion, grew up in media. My generation was like the first to have television or whatever, like raised them. And I just really feel like there's a lot of stuff in the world that is like it's to an end. Like we're like there's so many things in the world that are trying to like, you know, shape the way people think, sell a product, and I just really just want to spread love with what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
And I just really feel like that is what Murph Media is about. I mean, if I had to come up with a coin for Murph Media, it's content from the heart. I just really want to like help grow a generation of people that are empathetic and compassionate and having fun, and just like understanding the world around them a little better.
Lindsey, you absolutely have my back in everything you pursue. With all the media we're consuming now, like I just think that there needs to be an aggressive approach to a more kind and loving media. So I'm all for it. Murph Media. Tell my audience how they could get in touch with you through social media.
Let's see. You can find me at thefablab.com, but most importantly, youtube.com/crazyauntlindsey.